Did you join Toastmasters forever ago and are wondering what should you do next? Are you unsure of how to showcase all that you've accomplished? This evening's presentation is all about how to translate your Toastmasters experience into building a better you in your professional and your personal life. Professionally, our keynote speaker this evening, International Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Melissa McGavick, has a background in corporate sales and executive recruiting. She works with mid-career professionals to polish their soft skills and create a personal brand to, prevent their resume from landing in a pile of also ran applicants by enabling them to stand out as the most promotable candidate. With business owners, she helps them create a brand that gets attention and gets results. Please welcome International Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Melissa McGavick, as she shares with us her speech, Build a Better You. Melissa, welcome.
Thank you, Madam District Director. I am so thankful for each of those who have invested in my personal growth. Think of what we could accomplish if each of us poured ourselves into helping someone else to become the best version of themselves. We all join Toastmasters for different reasons. It could be speaking or leadership, confidence, or even just having a better social life. For whatever reason that we join and whatever path we pursue, the plan is still the same. Build a better you. As we start accomplishing and developing in the original reason that we joined Toastmasters, we grow and our focus shifts from me to we. We find joy investing in others and empowering them to become the best version of themselves. We strengthen our muscles by focusing on building a better Toastmasters organization, whether it's a club, an area, a division, a district. And as we develop those leadership skills, we develop the skills to build a better world. When I think about when I joined Toastmasters, I was comparing it to other possible programs. It could be a college or a university course. It could be a number of different educational programs that are available out in the world. But for the investment of time and money, Toastmasters was a good investment. When I consider what we can learn in Toastmasters, I've learned that my investment of my monthly dues, paid twice a year, has allowed me to go so far beyond my original why as to when I joined. When I joined, I thought, I'm going to come in, learn some public speaking skills, because I was starting a business. And in that business, I was going to have to stand in front of other people and present. I knew that I could get myself scheduled to book once, but could they invite me back? Was I good enough on the platform that those skills would translate and they would refer me to their colleagues and invite me to be in front of their organization again? I figured that would take me about 6 months. I'd get in, get over it, and get on with my life. That was almost 17 years ago now. I found that there is so much more in the organization. I've improved in my interpersonal communication skills, my leadership skills. As a district leader, I was able to practice reading financial statements, creating a budget and a strategy. Team building and team management became a thing in my life. Now I have the opportunity to serve you on the board, and I'm still learning in this process. I'm very excited to see what comes next. There's so many other opportunities I haven't yet pursued, competing in speech contests, and one of the major hidden gems that I find in Toastmasters is the Accredited Speakers Program. So every time you step into a new year, a new opportunity, presents itself within Toastmasters. Right now, I think about, I've already accomplished a couple of DTMs, but what comes next in that area too? If you've joined Toastmasters a dozen years ago, or 2 years ago, or 30 years ago, there are still more things to learn. As I look at our new Pathways program, each DTM having some technical difficulties, we're good to go. How long was I muted? But as we think about Toastmasters, I have had the opportunity to grow, and our DTMs allow us to develop multiple skills where we're picking 2 different majors pretty much. Right now, I'm doing leadership development and the persuasive speaking paths, excuse me. So as a good speaker, one of the things you always want to do is learn about your audience. And as a club officer, you also want to learn about what your club members are interested in when they join. So I'd like you to open up that chat box and share with us, why did you originally join Toastmasters? Go ahead and pop in some of your ideas of why you joined Toastmasters. And I'm going to ask Rakia as our Zoom master tonight. Rakia, can you share with me a couple of ideas that people are sharing in the chat?
I see impromptu speaking. So my coworker could win the membership contest. To gain confidence, to become more confident, to push a book, fear of public speaking. My manager advised me to do it. He is right.
Very good.
It was a way to be in front of more audiences.
Thank you. Give me one more.
To present my research.
Very good. As you heard, there are so many reasons why we all join Toastmasters. Whether it's public speaking or pushing that book, or because your friend had a membership contest, which is actually how I got invited originally to Toastmasters. Someone in my work said, I have to have somebody come. Will you please come with me? He was vice president of membership. And that invitation opened up so many things in my life. Tonight, we're going to talk about more than just what is on the path. We talk about pathways and all of those great skills that you learn. We're going to talk about translating what is on our path and figure out where we can use it outside of the Pathways path and the Toastmasters Club. We're going to talk about how we can use what we learn in that club environment and how it translates into the real world. Because unlike Vegas, what you learn in Toastmasters doesn't stay in Toastmasters. We use it out there. And each one of us, although we are running our own race, we find that when we get to the end of the first path, there's another one waiting, and there's another road waiting beyond that path. So let's take a look at how you can maximize this Toastmasters experience to build the best version of you. Our Toastmasters organizations open up so many doors. Excuse me a second. I'm going to share a story with you about a friend of mine who, when I first met her, is when I joined Toastmasters. Her name's Patty, and Patty had been in marketing. She enjoyed her job. She liked doing what she did. And she was scheduled to go on a vacation, and the vacation was on the other side of the country. Her boss informed her just before she left that when she came back, he was going to be asking her to lead a program and lead a presentation for a client. Being that she was more of an introvert, this was a pretty terrifying thought. While she was on vacation, she thought about it more and more, looked at apartments in the city she was visiting, rented one, came back home, packed her bags, gave her notice to her boss, and moved across country. Because of the fear of public speaking, she left the job that she really enjoyed. She did find a new job in marketing, was enjoying it, and shortly thereafter, she ended up being asked to do a presentation again. Her initial panic was the fear that she had run from all the way across the country had followed her to this new opportunity. How was she going to accomplish this public speaking piece of this job? Because she couldn't afford to break her lease and move again, leaving another job behind. She started searching for some solutions, and a friend recommended she visit a Toastmasters club. This was very uncomfortable. However, they were so warm and welcoming. They helped her get acclimated to our program, helped her to develop those speaking skills, to take those butterflies that were flying everywhere and get them moving in formation, at least. Over the next couple of years, she progressed in her career, definitely in her speaking skills, and then found herself leaving her job again because of public speaking. But it wasn't because she was running from it. She was actually running towards it. Patty had found her voice, written a book, and became a professional public speaker. Now, I'm not going to say that that's what you're going to do. However, Toastmasters opened so many doors that we often didn't even know existed prior to being in our organization. For you, it might be changing departments. It might be getting promoted within the department you're in. It may be becoming a vice president or even a CEO of the corporation you're with. The ability to communicate clearly opens so many doors. As was mentioned in my bio, I have experience in executive recruiting. And one of the things in executive recruiting is sorting through lots of resumes. If I put out an application for or an advertisement for a job today, tomorrow I could walk into the office and have more than 300 applications that came overnight. Prior to the algorithms that sort people out today, you had to go through each one of them. And resumes, after you've looked at a couple hundred of them, all start to look alike. So how do you make yourself stand out? Because whenever you're going through 300 plus resumes and sorting it down to 10 that you're actually going to have a conversation with, how do I stand out compared to everybody else? Because those 10 are going to get narrowed down to 3. And those 3, their resumes are so often almost identical. The names are different. Maybe the city where the candidate is coming from might be different, but the job experience is so often identical. What differentiates is the ability to lead, the ability to drive conversations, to get results, and all of that stems from our ability to communicate and stand out. So we're going to share a couple of items that you already are gaining in Toastmasters that will help you stand out. The first part is polishing your first impressions. In our Toastmasters clubs for decades, we have shaken hands as we passed over the lectern. We have learned about how to make eye contact with the audience, which is completely different now. Now it's, how do I connect with somebody through a lens of a camera? Where's my lighting? How do I use the chat most effectively? Those skills are uncomfortable when most people start getting onto this Zoom platform. A year into this, you're probably a lot more comfortable. But practice, we've always heard, makes perfect. I actually look at that and think practice makes permanent. If you have the opportunity on a weekly basis to capitalize on the dynamics of a meeting, to practice making this first impression, when it counts, it will be second nature to you. So the first thing about your Toastmasters experience that you can translate out is the first impression that you learn to make in your club experience. Now, each of us grow and strengthen our skills by getting good repetitions in, whether it be learning how to craft a message. Writing speeches also helps you to become a better writer. You learn how to communicate with an audience in a casual and comfortable conversational tone. If you happen to be somebody who has to do the quarterly earnings report, you have the opportunity in your club to practice researching a topic. Or maybe you have to request funding in your position at work. Learning to persuade with power through the Pathways platform allows you to translate the skills you learn here to there. So whether your job is to inspire or to convince or to call someone to action, your Toastmasters practice makes it permanent and helps you to go towards excellence. So what upcoming presentations do you have outside of Toastmasters that you can practice in your Toastmasters club? In your home club, you have the opportunity to get feedback on a regular basis. And those of you who take advantage of advanced club membership quite often have the benefit of round robin feedback, which allows you to get more specific information and feedback from all audience members. Learning throughout your lifetime is a good reason to be a member of Toastmasters. And you might be thinking, well, obviously, Melissa, you come to Toastmasters, you learn public speaking, you learn leadership, you know how to give a speech. But what about outside of giving a formal speech? You might be learning storytelling and think, oh, that's great if I'm in sales and marketing. That's a perfect skill to learn in there. But storytelling is also a great skill for the grandmother or the grandfather who would like to be able to spin a good story to share with their grandchildren and pass on family history. Or technical presentations, great for the training and development department, perfect for engineers, and great for the family member who wants to teach to the next generation how to make perfect gnocchi. Whatever you're looking to achieve in your communication outside of Toastmasters, there's typically some way for you to translate it and learn it and perfect it within your club environment. If you pursue speech topics that allow you to support your professional development, but also your personal development, I have learned so much from my club members who are interested in history, or the foodies who have shared their recipes and their kitchen disasters and how to avoid them. The people who are interested in woodworking and share exactly how they have built a cabinet. It's amazing the skills that I have had the opportunity to witness how somebody develops through 5 to 7 minute snippets. Our core competencies within Toastmasters are the foundation for the other 300 competencies. As you see here on the screen, a slice of a pine tree. That pine tree has thousands of little cells. Those are like the 300 competencies. They're all there building on each other, helping each other stand and grow. But then you'll see the areas that are highlighted in blue. And those are the area, the xylem, that allow the water and nutrients to travel through the tree. And our xylem is those 5 core competencies. They are the conduit where we learn all of the other competencies: the public speaking, the interpersonal communication, the strategic leadership, management, and the one thing that can't be taught that is developed through the process of all of it is our confidence. So whether you need to learn writing skills or social media skills, there's an opportunity for you to learn all of those tiny competencies that build a strong foundation and hold up the other competencies. I find it sad when I find a member who has only come to Toastmasters just because they're going to speak and that's it. If you have, or I know, have had that opportunity to say, I only want to speak at a club meeting. I don't want to be a timer, a grammarian, an evaluator. I'd like you to consider taking on the roles that scare you the most. If you want to be a good speaker, become a great evaluator, become a great timer and a great grammarian. And if you've been around for 20 or 30 years and you think, oh, I have that, what can you do to take it to the next level? There's a member in my home club who I am always amazed at her evaluations of grammar. Her name's Sarah, and she gives an amazing evaluation and was able to really help a lot of members of our club that English is a second language. And for those of us who think English is our first language, sometimes she helps us to develop some skills that we didn't even realize that we needed some help on. But setting a role goal. I recently had the opportunity to be a timer and grammarian again because of participating in my home club. And I decided I wanted to take it to a next level. So one way was I reread the definition of the job. Yes, I've been in almost 17 years, rereading and looking at specifically what it says in the manuals and the Pathways program about what it is to be those positions. And then I considered, how do I elevate that? And how do I incorporate ways of being better in my skills myself? So I actually took it to a level of creating a PowerPoint that I could put behind me as I presented the word of the day, the grammarian report, the timer report, so I could get better at this on-screen environment at the same time serving in a goal or a role. So think about how can you take it to the next level. And if you're not comfortable in one of those roles, I would tackle that one. Coming from that background of executive recruiting, Toastmasters is the perfect place to round out your resume. With your affiliation of an international organization and seeing that you're involved in your community beyond your work helps you to stand out. It also allows you to establish common ground and have a conversation with an employer or interviewer that is more than just the skills that are on your resume. It also happens to give you a little bit of a halo effect because it shows that you're helping others to become better. You can include this under community involvement in either your resume or a LinkedIn profile and highlight the roles that you've participated in both your club, your area, division, district. If you happen to be on a committee, great place to learn additional skills. Rakia tonight is being our Zoom master. This is something that she could add to her resume in the long run, that she has mastered the Zoom platform. Use Toastmasters to expand your network. Whenever you join Toastmasters, you become part of a professional organization. It allows you to expand your professional reach and reach out to members that are former members in your club, allows you to reach out to people across districts even. When you reach out, I encourage you to think about your communication. We're a communications organization, and whenever you're on some of these platforms, there's the opportunity to just click connect. But is that showing and highlighting your communication skills? Try something more along the lines of, it was a pleasure to meet you at the District 11 conference on Friday night. I would love to connect with you so we can share articles, information, and contacts. Please accept my invitation to connect. I look forward to getting to know you better. It's a lot better than connect, hoping that they'll see it. It also helps them to be able to remember, where did I meet you? Especially if there's somebody who is connecting to hundreds of people maybe around the world. Now, how do you set yourself apart in that LinkedIn environment or when you're introducing yourself to someone? Use Toastmasters to create a personal brand statement. Prior to being an international director, I served as a region advisor for 2 different regions. And I created a brand statement that allowed me to explain what is it that a region advisor does. And what I came up with is that I help district leaders to be able to develop their advanced leadership skills through training, coaching, mentoring, so they can grow their districts, resulting in more people benefiting from the Toastmasters program. That was a way I could explain what is a region advisor and what does it do. So for yourself, what is it that you can do to show how you add value? We're going to try a little experiment here, and I'm going to ask you to open up that chat box again. I'd like to hear who you help in your environment, in your work. Who do you help? So I'm going to ask Rakia to help me out here again. Share with me, who do you help in your world, in your environment? Do you help company employees? Do you help, maybe you do accounts payable? I help salespeople in ABC company to be able to collect on what they have sold through creating invoices and following up with customers so they can focus on selling more of our products. So Rakia, share with me, what are people telling us that they do? Who do they help?
I see students and formal mentees, employees, entrepreneurs who are ready, who are early startups,
Okay.
family, especially their kids, psychotherapy clients, team members, student interns. Oh, I help my wife in whatever she wants.
Oh, we like that one.
Yeah. People with problems and research team members, engineers create prototype orders, customer service,
Good.
sisters.
Thank you. All right. So what do you help them to do? So go ahead and fill in that chat. So you help who? Do what?
Well, here's one that says, I help healthcare providers to deliver an exceptional patient experience through making genuine human connections so patients feel cared for, acknowledged, and understood.
Great explanation. Thank you for sharing that. What other things do people have? I don't know who shared that, but great explanation.
Here's one. I help project managers to understand their program financials through monthly analysis so they can monitor their program work.
Great. Give me one more.
Here's one that's perfect for right now. I help set up Zoom to meet during a pandemic.
Very good. Thank you. So if you are helping particular people to do something through whatever your services are so that they can, is a great way to help your stuff stand out on your LinkedIn profile. But what about helping your club? This happens to be a few of the members in my home club and their explanations of who they are in Toastmasters. These expressions of their why and their personal branding statements on the club website under Meet Our Members help others when they're searching for a Toastmasters club to pick your club because, wow, I relate to this person or I relate to that person. Wow, this club is full of professionals who are on the move and trying to do something to make the world a better place. Whatever it is that people are looking for, they're looking to connect. They're looking to connect with others. And you can take that exact same experience and turn it into a personal branding statement, but I'll change that word from personal branding statement to a club branding statement. So if you looked at this as a club, we help the employees of ABC Company to be more effective communicators and leaders through the Toastmasters program so that we break down silos in the organization and have better communication, helping people to become more effective in their job, be promoted, and help our clients more. What does your club do? Who do you help? A couple of people go ahead and pop that in the chat. Who does your club specifically help? And what does it help them do? Anything in the chat there, Rakia? So do you have a specific club focus? Maybe you're an advanced club.
I think there's some thinking going on.
There might be some thinking going on. All right, anything up? I see a couple coming in, but I can't read them. I'm going to rely on Rakia to help me here.
I help them to feel more confident.
Okay.
We help people learn how to deal with leadership opportunities and challenges, help to get more fluent in presenting to audience. I'm going to add my own. In our club, we've been helping some of our members with the interview process for jobs. One club helps new community members to take that first step to be communicators.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Another option could be that your club helps a lot of people where English is a second language to be able to feel more comfortable and confident communicating so they can feel comfortable at work through our Toastmasters program, but also through mentoring them and helping them with really effective grammarian reports so that they can be promoted and feel like they're more part of the community. Your club has a unique personality, and I encourage you to grab hold of that unique personality. Even though we're all in Toastmasters, it's like ice cream. Everybody loves a different flavor of ice cream. Some likes vanilla, some like chocolate, some like Rocky Road, somebody else likes strawberry. How does your club help the members of your club? Use your Toastmasters experience to round out that resume still in the idea of if you have the opportunity to serve as a club officer. I found as I was perusing different LinkedIn profiles of members, someone who actually explained on their LinkedIn profile what their club president does as what they did when they were vice president of education. This allows a potential employer or somebody who wants to connect with them to see, wow, this person has some skills to be able to run meetings or to help encourage other members. But it also is a great advertisement for your club without being a screaming advertisement. When someone who is checking out your profile sees, wow, they developed some interesting skills through this club, maybe I want to check that out. Now, through your club or through your district public relations manager, I'm going to be sharing a document that can be added to your resources for your district that has an example of every single club officer and what you can gain from doing those roles. For example, club president, developing their delegation skills and vision casting, how to be better in time management. All of those are skills that are translatable outside of Toastmasters. And I encourage you to raise the bar, whether talking about being a ballerina. Oh, wait a second, not a ballerina, a Toastmaster. We get badges, awards, and roles. So I ask you to raise the bar on your platform of LinkedIn and Facebook. Post out there when you get a new badge, post out there when you get a new award, or you're serving in a new role. There's a place in LinkedIn where you can put accomplishments, awards, and achievements. You can take a photograph of your DTM plaque and post it there. You can list those accomplishments. You can share that with your Facebook fans and your Facebook friends. All of that promotes you, but also promotes Toastmasters and specifically your club. Now, when you are developing that LinkedIn profile that I've mentioned several times now, make the most of your profile. You might recognize this Toastmaster. She happens to be leading your district this year. This is Jean Wolf, and she does not know that I was putting this on the screen. So I went out to her LinkedIn profile and found that she had all of her Toastmaster district trio leadership information posted. Great place to highlight it, great advertisement for anyone who connects with her in a professional manner to see where she's developed some of those leadership skills. When you are developing those skills, make sure that you're asking for something called recommendations. She has one here from someone that she's worked with, but your recommendations can come from customers. They can come with fellow members of your Toastmasters club, peers, colleagues, audience members. A recommendation takes a little time to craft. And I recommend that you think about crafting them for your peers and posting it to their LinkedIn profiles. It'll give you experience creating them, but it also allows people to want to also to be reciprocal and make a recommendation for you. Now you may be thinking, Melissa, I do not have time to write 100 recommendations for everybody that I work with in my whole area. However, pick the ones that are closest to you, make the recommendations, and for the rest of them, go on and do skills and endorsements. This is kind of like Yelp for people. It's a thumbs up. This person does a good job in this area. These skills and endorsements that are on here happen to be from your speaker for tomorrow night. If you haven't had the opportunity to hear Mark Brown, I encourage you, tune in tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. He's amazing as a speaker, but you can also see here on his skills and endorsements, people think he's pretty fabulous at coaching, public speaking, motivational speaking, but also team building and staff development. There are things that people can give you that thumbs up for. And I encourage you to add those endorsements to the people that you happen to know, but also ask for them for yourself. So where do you find these people that you're going to network with through your Toastmasters program? Of course, your club, your area, division, your district, but regionally, our region spans from Ontario to Tennessee, from Indiana to Western Pennsylvania. That's a huge swath of the country. And occasionally there are events that you might want to participate in. For example, your region advisors this year held an online training on how to be a contest judge. If you went through that program, your name was put on a list for sharing contest judges across region. So you could be participating in a contest in Ontario or Western Pennsylvania or Tennessee. If you're interested in something like that, after your district leaders are elected tomorrow, get in touch with them and say, next time the region advisors do this, I'd like to participate. Take a look at what other districts are in the region and reach out to them. Reach out to the members to network. If there's a club that you're interested in visiting. You can do this internationally, of course, across North America, but there's a lot more than just LinkedIn and Twitter or Toast and Facebook. There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's now something called Clubhouse, there's WeChat, a lot of different options for you to connect. Your district director, Jean Wolf, just placed into the chat for us the LinkedIn profile for District 11. I encourage you to jump onto that and click follow so you can stay abreast of what's going on and participate with that platform. Now, translating your success may take a little effort. When people are not a Toastmaster, they kind of look into what we're doing and they're not quite sure what's all going on. So you may have to translate it for your boss, for your coworkers as to what it is that you're already doing. If we are physically in offices and cubicles, one way is to take in the trophy that you won from the club speech contest and put it on your desk. But sometimes we don't have that opportunity currently. So how do I do this? Make those posts, create a career kudos file. Make sure your supervisor knows what it is that you're doing in Toastmasters. If you're in a Toastmasters club outside of work, letting your supervisor know that I'm investing my personal time outside of work to improve myself so I can perform better for you here at work makes you stand out. Take advantage of the letters Toastmasters sends to your employer saying that you've achieved competency in a particular area. One company that I know of that makes electrical parts, they have their members of their club do 3 speeches, 3 functionary roles, and attend 2/3 of their lunchtime meetings. And that is one of the parts of their year-end evaluation. So you may have to help them translate what that goal looks like for you. Maybe it is attaining level 5 of a particular path by the end of December of 2021. Or maybe it is, I'm going to expand my networking within the company. So I'm going to make a point of inviting 2 coworkers to our lunchtime club every quarter. Those are all skills that translate into other areas and developing your confidence. Now, so many of us are fans of table topics once we get started in them and we feel comfortable and confident, but not everybody's so comfortable in this. A dear friend of mine who has won more contests than I can imagine. I shared with him the other day, I was interested in his story, and he shared with me he'd been in 50 some contests now and had won or placed in over 45 of them. Why is that so amazing? You think, wow, well, he's really gifted and talented. But when he joined 20 years ago, his first table topic was 15 seconds long. And he has developed that skill, developed improvisational skills. He's become the humorous speech contest winner for the district 4 times. And it's all because he's developed the skills to be able to think quickly on his feet. Tackling table topics helps you to be able to perform better in high stress situations. It makes you stand out in the interviews. And I will also contend that tackling table topics helps your brain to be able to make decisions more quickly. If you're somebody who struggles with pizza or tacos, having to answer pizza or tacos in your Toastmasters club in a table topic situation helps you to learn how to make decisions more quickly. As you travel up through the district leadership roles, that's an additional skill that will come in handy. A couple of years ago, most of us wouldn't have even been worried about mastering our media. Now, everybody is out there on social media, and maybe not everybody, but quite a few of our members are out there live streaming on YouTube or Facebook and being on Facebook Live. Maybe they are doing live streaming for work. Mastering this platform is new for so many of us. I'm loving the challenge, and you can go out and look on Facebook and find the 77-day video challenge that a couple of our members, quite a few of our members, have been participating in. That 77-day video challenge is 77 days in a row getting on and making a live streaming video. Why? Because you get better at it. So take a look, search for that in some of the Toastmasters groups and see what it's about. It help you to master this and help you to be able to put your best foot forward online. Our cross-pollination of skills, because Toastmasters skills shouldn't just stay in Toastmasters. You didn't join Toastmasters to be a good Toastmaster. You most likely joined Toastmasters to be better at something else in our life. If you can take your skills from here and transfer them there, and there to transfer them here. What do I mean? Serving outside of our organization in other community organizations, whether it's Seroptimists or Lion or Kiwanis. I've seen people work with food banks and environmental groups. I've seen one woman really help her hospital's volunteer group gain more members because she used her Toastmasters skills. Of course, our now partnership with Rotary is encouraging Rotarians and Toastmasters to work together. And why not? Go out, meet people in other organizations and take those skills there. One Toastmaster who I am aware of used her Toastmaster skills to develop an amazing youth leadership project or program that ended up that the entire city wanted to institute the Toastmasters youth leadership program for them for their entire city. Now, she needs some more volunteers to be able to do that, but she's also used it to serve in her community in other areas. And she's being asked to serve in greater and larger positions because she's mastered how to run a meeting. She said the reason people are asking her to participate is because how to run a meeting effectively and parliamentarian skills. You don't have to be a registered parliamentarian, but if you learn in Toastmasters a bit about parliamentary procedure, you can really add to the success of other organizations. a couple of surprising ways that I've seen people use Toastmasters is to attain goals that have nothing to do with public speaking and leadership. I've seen people lose weight and achieve running a marathon because they use their Toastmasters program to hold them accountable. They came in and every speech was about that topic, and they shared their success throughout going through their Pathways program. In that, they have been held accountable by their club members who regularly ask, how are you doing on reaching that next goal? I've seen it work not just with weight loss and fitness goals, but becoming a professional speaker and becoming an author. I know 3 different people who have joined Toastmasters because they wanted to lead a faith-based study group. 3 different religions, 3 different people. But this gives the person the opportunity to learn to read in front of their peers. Reading out loud, being able to have confidence to share personal info, to be able to mentor someone else who's going through a rough time in their life, and being comfortable reading prayer and speaking prayer in their lives. So whatever your faith, this is another option to how to translate your skills outside of Toastmasters. Toastmasters has also added to so many of our lives in ways that have more to do than just club participation, but developing friendships and relationships. Is your club fun? Does your club connect outside of Toastmasters? This is a snapshot of some of the members in my home club. And even through pandemic, have tried to do some unique ways to make sure that we connect and stay together. Some of those pictures that are outside were held in a community park where we had a pavilion. You'll see in the second photograph there, the person who's giving the award is way far back from the person receiving the award. But making sure to connect and stay connected, to be together through your successes. Now, how do you build relationships outside of the club is by getting together. Maybe you have a group of people who really enjoy a particular type of food. They're foodies, or they're interested in beverage tasting, wine, beer, whatever it is. They get together outside of Toastmasters to build those relationships. In my home club, we have a group of ladies who are the dancing disco divas. Prior to COVID, they were out and about and doing presentations, or not doing presentations, doing dancing on the weekends, having a great time developing those relationships. Another group does sports shooting on the weekends, and it might have nothing to do with Toastmasters, but it's a way to develop those relationships. Theater, singing, improv, exercise, walking, traveling, all of those are opportunities for you to develop those relationships. As our world moves further into the future, hybrid is likely to be what we're going to be experiencing next. So many of our members, me included, miss humans and being able to say hello and seeing each other in person. This is a hybrid speech contest that happened. The people who were speaking or in the contest are there in front of the room. As you'll see behind them, the people who are online participating in the club meeting. Live, online, hybrid. This is a perfect time to develop additional skills that you can use. Just like Rakia here today is learning about, developing her skills as a Zoom master. She can translate that into the real world, where more and more companies and organizations are going to have to learn how to navigate these new waters. And that is a skill you translate outside. So every member does have a My Why. And if you help your members of your club to figure out why they're in Toastmasters, help them to connect their why into their club experience. And remember that each one of us, if we help each person to build a better version of themselves, whether it's through goal accountability, whether it is through public speaking, leadership development, specific core competencies, or the 300 other core competencies, helping each other to develop the skills of polished first impressions and roles achievement, mastering your media opportunities, expanding your network. Go ahead and take a screenshot of that particular slide there. That's a great way to remind yourself of the things that we talked about tonight. There will be a handout that will be coming through your program quality directors to be allowed into your resources in the future, because each of us do run our own race, and we want to take a look at what works for our individual people, our individual members, and ourselves. To quote past international president Helen Blanchard, if you get everything you can out of Toastmasters, you will never get out of Toastmasters. I encourage you to build a better you, a better me, a better organization, and a better world. Back to you, Madam District Director.
Thank you, Melissa. Let's give it up for Melissa, please. What an inspiration. One of the things that I love about listening to Melissa is I always learn something new. And not only learn something new, but she has a way of weaving into her presentations, and I know it's intentional, very practical tips, things that we can take back and do immediately. Melissa, thank you so much for adding to our own development and sharing your wisdom with District 11. Thank you. Everyone, please, again, a round of applause for Melissa. Melissa McGavick